They say the stuff between Gherbo and Dogg was a backdoor. See, I did a video on this like a day or two ago, and I guess more information is surfaced. So let's just see what came up and let's see how it transpired and went down.
I know y'all seen the title and everybody is wondering who did what. You see a whole bunch of people on social medias pointing fingers at Gherbo. Let me tell y'all right now, right? Let's make this very, very clear. We're not saying Gherbo had involvement or did anything. The part that people's not paying attention to is this, right? When Dogg went on the rant and he was talking about NLMB as a whole, he didn't just mention Gherbo, right? And he mentioned, y'all know who that is, Little Bibby, and then him and Big Op got into it. So there's other people who he got into it with, but some reason everybody's pointing fingers at Gherbo. And you got to understand, right? When you think of NLMB fans' point of view, everybody is just thinking about Gherbo. He's the face of No Limit. So anything that goes down pertaining to No Limit and it makes it on a broader scale, it's going to be brought to the attention of Gherbo, and he's going to look like the bad thing, right? If y'all paying attention, that doo-wop sent
he always gonna
to
look like
J-Dog after all that he said at the end, that's the last thing I'm going to say. You ask me, if anything, that sounds more intimidating. That's like a threat to me. But once again, we not here to point fingers. What we're saying is, at the end of the day, it's more than just Gherbo that was dissed and felt insulted when it came to J-Dog and what he had to say. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what's been going on, what happened is last week, a No Limit member by the name of J-Dog, well, he felt the way towards Gherbo, and he took the No Limit Cairo route and exposed Gherbo for allegedly not taking care of his community, not coming back to his community, and saying that he's no longer No Limit. So what he said was, since you don't want to claim No Limit, don't come back here, don't shake no hands, you can't come back to the block. And as y'all know, when you tell somebody that in Chicago especially, it's a lot of pride and ego involved. So of course it was going to be responses. But the thing about that whole thing is that J-Dog probably didn't realize that there's people that actually is on Gherbo's side and they agree with him and they're going to ride with him no matter what. One of those guys happened to be Big Op himself. So when J-Dog said what he had to say, Big Op responded before Gherbo did, and he let it be known that Gherbo's going to come around no matter what, and nobody's going to do anything to him about it. And as y'all know, that turned into a bunch of name calling, threats being made, what I'm going to do if I see you, the whole 9 yards, a typical drill fashion, right? But lo and behold, just days later, a little shy of a week, we will find out that NLMB J-Dog was actually shot unalive as he was walking with his friend. They say he was shot 6 times in his back, and they did recover firearms on the scene. Now, automatically, fingers started pointing to Gherbo because, of course, just days ago, he was in a back and forth feud with Gherbo and Big Op. So it's not that people are being incriminating or anything. It's just kind of common sense, or maybe it's just a coincidence. But at the end of the day, what we all could agree with is clearly it was a backdoor situation. We don't know who, but something just ain't right. And we wouldn't be the only ones feeling like that, because J-Dog's brother will also take to his IG story and repost the song Backdoored by Lil Durk, indicating that he felt like his brother was set up right after everything transpired. Now, if that wasn't enough, fast forward to today, J-Dog's sister will also kind of point fingers in the No Limit direction, as she will basically tell people stop posting the picture of J-Dog and Gherbo back in the days, because she said y'all need to get the F on. And why else would she say that unless she too feels that Gherbo and the No Limit may have had something to do with this man's unalive. Now, if that wasn't enough, another woman who identified herself as his cousin also alluded to J-Dog's unalive being too close to home. She would take to her IG story, posting her on FaceTime with J-Dog, and she captioned it saying, quote, "Damn, My blood little cousin though, I was so happy you was free, man. 9 a.m. I called everybody phone this day for you little cuz. I'm crushed. They know I'm going against whoever about my little cousins. Know I used to get on their butt playing with you. I'm talking about Ish just made me wash my hands with all this Ish. On my kids, what the F?
Yeah,
Sitting on a jail call explaining this Ish to Lo and hearing the hurt in his voice killed my soul. Growing up, it literally was you, Lo, Project, and 30s. Remember my second crib I ever had? Y'all all moved with me, free everything. Trying to speak the good memories to stop from crying, but I can't lie, this took it. N-words weird, N-words O's. You know I ain't closing my mouth by Ish. They gonna hear this, they gonna feel it. Hashtag family over everything, hashtag free our crowd. You just heard them boys behind that wall. This what this Ish came to? I guess cause it's you, huh? Never been a B-word though, LOL. N-words had to know you was gonna stand 10 with whoever slow-ass little boy, they couldn't take you. Guess some words hurt more than we thought. Nobody ever owed you. Damn 30s, damn Low. What about little Sissner? Rams. I'ma Mr. F out you on rock, literally. Feel like a part of me empty, little cuz I just waited 9 years for you and ain't getting 9 months out you. I'm hurt. What a way to end my trip, shorty. It ain't never no coming back from this or my dead brother. Hashtag count me out. Hashtag y'all can have this Ish. Hashtag freedom hitters. Hashtag backdoor K. Hashtag real N-words ain't feeling this.
Yeah, backdoor
Ish.
king.
And that hashtag when she said backdoor K, well, that kind of explains it all. And one thing, let me tell y'all this. From personal observation and things I see myself, one thing you do have to worry about when you in them streets is the family. Especially people who are close and know what's going on. And here's why I say that. You see how she said she's not staying quiet? And you see she said backdoor K? So it's quite obvious she knows what's going on and she's heard about it. And guess what? She's a civilian. So when you mix those type of recipes together, it becomes one for disaster. Because what happens is now she wouldn't feel no regret going to the police and saying what she knows. I'm not saying she will. But these are the risks you run when you play close to home, especially when you got female civilians that's involved. And especially when they want to retaliate, but they know that they don't got no other way of doing so, so they play the police game. Because they feel like they were cheated out of a life, and they want somebody to feel the same pain, especially if they know who did it. Now, aside from that, you know what's crazy? When they say sometimes jail keep a lot of these guys alive, this is a prime example of it. Because could you imagine doing a whole 9 years, coming home, happy to be home, and then end up losing your life? For all that, you were just better off staying in there for real. And this happens more than we think. Now, judging from these other posts, clearly some of the guys that's affiliated with both parties seem to know what's going on as well. But as y'all know, some people just choose to not get involved because they're all cool with each other. It's one of those situations where I may not agree with what happened, but I'm gonna just mind my business. In one post, a No Limit affiliate would say, quote, "Knowing brother just wanted this Ish to go back to how it was when he left, that's all brother wanted to do, was make the block back great again. Guess y'all misunderstood his motive. Ish hurt bad, cool. Only a few left that love this Ish and really love the people, and he was one of them. Can't change certain Ish or people though, brother, no matter what. Heartbreak, sad emoji." Another No Limit affiliate would take to his IG story addressing the situation as he would say, quote, "All he wanted was everything to go back regular. We arguing for an hour, straight spitting in each other's face, talking, shake hands a few minutes later, told him life changed a lot in 2 years, little bro. What you think it did in 10? He said, Ish, I'm talking about my block been the same. I don't care 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. Little N-words say Ish, and it make it so funny, but didn't understand what I meant. Wish you was a little more understanding. Love you, kid. It should never be the same now. Heartbreak emoji." And honestly, that's exactly what I got from the whole rant and everything that J-Dogg was doing. Clearly, J-Dogg did a whole bunch of time, and when he came home, everything was just different. I think when he was trolling or on his rant, he really didn't mean no malice about it, but he was just addressing his friend in a manner that only the bros can. However, I don't think J-Dogg also realized that we're living in different times now. Whereas if he would have done this in the past, it probably wouldn't have been this big of a deal. However, these days, the backdoor culture is so rampant, you can get it from anybody these days with no remorse. But back in the days, guys would probably have a little more sympathy and think before they do things, but not anymore. It's 2025. It's a total different year than 2016 when he left, and a lot has transpired. Now, let's address something real quick, right? Y'all have to remember that Dogg has been incarcerated for about 10 years due to a crime he was accused of in 2016. They accused him of unaliving a teen and trying to unalive another, and one of the victims pointed him out, resulted in him doing 10 years in prison. So it's safe to say that he isn't too privy on what's been going on around the No Limit and Gherbo and things of that nature. So here's my take on it. I personally think that Dogg took it the wrong way, but he must have heard that when he came home, Gherbo is no longer repping No Limit. And I get it, because he's probably feeling like, well, how are you not repping when you hanging around us, coming to the block, guys jeopardizing their freedom and their lives for you, but yet you're not repping No Limit? What's going on? But maybe he don't realize why Gherbo decided to step away and not rep No Limit, and maybe he would have understand more that it was a legal situation more than anything. Now, I'm not saying this is what it is, but I can only guess that with Gherbo being who he is, he has to disassociate himself from the No Limit moniker because it's the smartest thing for him to do. After seeing Little Durk basically get caught up in the whole RICO due to his association along with OTF, he would be a fool not to disassociate himself and learn from his mistakes. So it's one of those things where he has to act like he's not affiliated to the public eye, because if they do affiliate him with No Limit, then he could be caught in a whole federal RICO indictment for other things they got going on or whatever they may be accused of, allegedly. Now, it's been nothing but rumors of NLMB being blamed for the unaliving of Shooter Shells and others. Then you have a bunch of members getting locked up left and right already. So seeing and knowing that, he'd be a fool not to try to disassociate himself. It don't mean he disown him, but it's one of those situations where we could all still kick it, but for the safety of who I am, I can't rep this in public, which is smart. The first person the feds will come after if, God forbid, there is a RICO, is Gherbo, because he's the face. He's the famous guy. Money. He's the one that they all know, right? So I think if someone would have explained it more before things got out of hand, Dogg would still be here. Y'all know that pride is a mother effer, because a small misconception could turn into someone saying something and their egos get involved, and now we both say things that there's no coming back from, and boom, now it's beat. So I think a lot of this probably could have been avoided if Dogg knew more what's going on, or maybe he did and just didn't care. Who knows? Now, y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about all this, man. How do you feel about Dogg and his passing and the guys closest to him being accused of it? What I would tell y'all is this, man. It's no love in the street,
just caught up to
especially
him.
in today's like that back in the days. But it's not. Y'all.
I think his past just caught up to him. That's it. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.